Hello everybody, I'm finally back with yet another video, and it feels odd to be doing this intro since I've tried to make this video literally 12 times now, but a snoring dog, a little brother, and a dead laptop has interrupted me, so hopefully we can get through this entire thing without me having to cut it off or interrupt it in any type of way, because that would make me very angry. The topic of this video today is not going to be anything K-pop related, so I am sorry for all the K-pop fans, but I will not be talking about K-pop penis or high school proms or anything of the like. Not today, at least. Today, the topic of this video is going to be Batman v Superman. So, this is a movie that has been causing quite a bit of quote-unquote controversy for the simple fact that people who haven't seen the movie don't really know how to feel about it, because the critics have been saying one thing, half the comic book fandom has been saying, actually I wouldn't even say half, maybe like 63% of the comic book fandom has been saying one thing, and then the rest have been saying something else. And then you have that small group of comic book fans that love to complain about any and everything, especially feminists for whatever reason, and ignore them. Whenever they say anything, ignore them. But anyways, there's just been a lot of varying opinions about the movie and how everybody's been feeling about it. And today I'm just here to give you my thoughts on it. And honestly, I loved the movie. I thought that it was very well done. I thought that, for the most part, me going into the movie, I somewhat read the reviews before I went to see the movie, but I stayed optimistic because this is something that I've been excited for to see for months now, so I didn't want my experience ruined by what somebody else was saying, and I tend to go into any situation like that, just stay optimistic until I have my own viewpoint of it. And I'm really happy that I did that with this one, because if I had listened to the critics, it would have otherwise ruined a very well done movie for me. The story plot and the tone of the story has been arguably the main thing that people have been very off-putting about, but I'm here to tell you guys right now, as a comic book fan, if you do not like more serious toned comics or comic book movies or things that make you think, then you're not gonna like the movie. Like, I'm just gonna keep it real. You're not gonna like the movie in that regard. If you're expecting 2.5 hours full of nothing but just action and stuff blowing up and just wild and craziness all over the place, this is not gonna be your type of movie. And honestly, it amazes me that people were even expecting that in the first place, because first of all, Batman has never been that type of movie. Batman has always had a plot. It's always taken its time explaining certain things. Even with the Dark Knight trilogy, it took its time with the story. It took its time explaining, why this is happening, why Batman is doing this, why he's going to find this certain item or find this certain person, why he's talking to him or her. It's never been just, bam, this is blowing up, that's blowing up, and just wild and craziness all over the place. Well, except with Batman and Robin, but we're just not going to get into that unless we're talking about Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy, who did an excellent job, and she was one of the only redeeming factors of that movie, even though it is somewhat of a guilty pleasure of mine, that movie. I hate to admit it, but it is. But anyways, if you go in expecting just wild and craziness from the get-go until the end, you're not going to like the movie. The movie, like I said, is very philosophical in the sense that it makes you think, because everything that happens in the movie is explained. I'm not really understanding why some of the critics were saying that it was a confusing movie, or it didn't make sense, or the plot jumped all over the place. Because if you pay attention to the movie, granted, the scenes and the locations kind of jump all over the place in regards to the visuals, but the actual plot is lined out just fine to me. I understood everything that was going on, and it's not the type of movie where you need to go see it twice in order to understand it. If you're paying attention, and mostly, over above all, if you know the backstories of these characters and kind of their traits and their characteristics, then you're gonna like the movie, because, like I said, everything is right there for you. There shouldn't be any confusion whatsoever. This is a movie, I will say, that new comic book movie fans and new comic book fans in general probably aren't going to enjoy as much, because I can tell that Zack Snyder kind of dedicated this to not necessarily even the hardcore comic book fan, but just comic book fans in general, people who really understand the lore of Batman, Superman, and even in a sense Wonder Woman, even though she isn't in the movie that much. But like I said, it's a movie you really have to know what you're getting into before you go see Batman v Superman. That's what I have to say. First of all, go with an open mind. Just because the critics have been saying that it's bad doesn't mean that it's automatically a terrible movie. Granted, there have been cases of that, such as, the Fantastic Four, but for the most part, go, like I said, go in with optimism. It's not going to be just, terrible right off the bat just because a critic says that it's bad. And just one thing I will say, and this is mostly to the people who like the movie, who are critiquing the critics themselves, don't critique Rotten Tomatoes, because Rotten Tomatoes is not a review company. They compile multiple reviews to make the score that they make. So it's not Rotten Tomatoes saying that Batman v Superman is a 36% out of 100 or whatever it is now. They're compiling all the reviews, and that's the percentage that they get. So Rotten Tomatoes has nothing to do with that. If you're going to critique the critics, critique the specific critic who wrote whatever you don't like. That's what I have to say about that. But back to the movie. Like I said, I felt like it was very, very, I keep saying this, but like I said, I love the movie. Like, I was geeking out the whole time. I'm just like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Visually, absolutely stunning. I went to go see the movie in 3D on Easter Sunday. Well, Easter, because Easter Sunday is Easter, moron. But I went to see the movie in 3D. I would not advise that you do that, and I know that Warner Brothers is probably going to attack me and get my video taken down for me saying this, because I'm going to cost them money. Well, for the 40 people who watch this video. Don't go see the movie in 3D. There's really no point. In regards to 3D specific scenes, there were like less than 10. Honestly, I feel like this wasn't a movie that was supposed to be in 3D in the first place, so save your money, just go see the regular screening of Batman v Superman, because 3D was really, I wish I had saved my $4, even though I spent like 13 at the concession stand, but we're not going to get into that. What else can I talk about in regards to the movie? The cameos. The cameos, for the most part, were very well done. I was kind of disappointed with Aquaman's cameo just because it was so short, but Jason Momoa looked amazing. Just awesome from head to toe. Well, head to torso. Spoiler alert. He looked awesome. I'm very, very excited for this solo Aquaman movie, especially since I heard that Amber Heard is playing Mera. Ooh, that was almost a tongue twister, big time. And I absolutely adore Amber Heard in regards to her personal life, and even as an actress, I adore her. And Mera is one of my favorite DC Universe characters, so I'm really, really excited to see this solo movie. Ezra Miller as the Flash. The first cameo comes out of nowhere. It scared the crap out of me. I jumped about 3 feet out of my seat when it happened, because it, especially loud noises, gets to me in the movie theater. I'm not even going to front. But the first cameo was very well done. It was very Flashpoint / Injustice like. I really, really loved that. The second cameo was awesome because it just came and went like that, which is pretty much the Flash in a nutshell. So I really, really love that Zack Snyder did that. I really hope I'm not missing somebody besides Cyborg. Cyborg's cameo was kind of like his origin story in a sense. I almost feel like because of the fact that they did that cameo, they don't really have to go into his origin story a lot in the Justice League, even though I feel like doing everybody's origin stories in Justice League is pretty much going to be redundant anyways, because I mean, we know these characters, we know how they started out. For the newer people, maybe it would be useful, but for the most part, I feel like doing their origin stories is really going to be pointless, especially since Aquaman and Flash are having their solo movies anyway, so let's just save it for that. Unless, well, they come out after, so I'm gonna let DC handle that, let's just say that. But yeah, the cameos were all pretty well done. The Flash was definitely my favorite cameo, the second one in particular. Like I said, Jason Momoa looked awesome, Cyborg was awesome. Wonder Woman, this is the one that a lot of people probably want to hear about, especially since I was really, 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 really excited for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was probably at least in a top three sense, the best thing about the movie. She was absolutely amazing from the moment she stepped onto the screen to the moment that that final credit rolled. Just she shut shit down. Wonder Woman was absolutely amazing. One thing I will say for all you hardcore Wonder Woman fans, I'm just gonna warn you right now, not even in a spoiler type of setting, she's not in the movie a lot, and she's very silent in the movie. I will say that without spoiling a lot, but just know that even though she doesn't have a lot of lines and even though she's not in the movie a lot, it doesn't take away from the power of Wonder Woman in any sense, any way, shape, or form. Because Gal Gadot did an excellent, excellent, excellent job with Wonder Woman, even when she wasn't saying anything and she was just, just standing there. She has a way of conveying emotions with her face where it's impactful without her having to say a single word. And that's how I feel about Diana Prince in general. She has this charisma and this presence about her that makes you concentrate solely on her and everybody else just falls into the background. And the fight scene with Doomsday, that's exactly what happened. The moment she came on that screen, the fight got live and all the attention went directly on her. And it was so cute when I was in the theater because I sat next to these kids who were talking the whole movie, which was pretty annoying. But this little girl you could tell the only reason she came to see the movie was for Wonder Woman. Once Wonder Woman came on the screen, she freaked out. And I just sat there and I smiled because I'm just like, this is why we need female representation in comic book movies. Like, this is why. The fact that that little girl was so happy made me happy. And it really made me enjoy the movie and Wonder Woman even more. I've spoken a lot about the good of the movie. Let me get to some bad points about the movie. Some of you may shade me and say everything was a bad point about the movie, but no, I will debate you on that. A lot of people had a problem with Lex Luthor. Me personally, I understand what the problem was with Lex Luthor, but for the most part, I felt like, first of all, Jesse Eisenberg did an excellent, 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 excellent job playing the role. He definitely, like I said, with Wonder Woman, one of the top three best things about the movie for me. I absolutely loved him. Anytime he came on the screen, he made me laugh, he made me nervous, he made me kind of scared. He did everything an actor was supposed to do for me personally. He made me forget that he was Jesse Eisenberg and he made me think Lex Luthor. The funny thing about that, though, is that the Lex Luthor you're used to if you've watched Smallville or read the comic books, the later comic books where he was already bald, or just even seeing pictures of Lex Luthor, you are going to be kind of off-putting of it because it's not going to be anything like you expected Lex Luthor to be. It's almost a Joker type performance, which a lot of people have been critiquing as well, and I understand that, but from my understanding and from what I've heard certain people say, because mind you, I haven't read a lot of Superman comic books, I've only read Batman for the most part, and maybe a couple Superman, so I don't know a lot about Lex Luthor and his history and his lore. Apparently Lex was somewhat like that when he was younger, so maybe Zack Snyder knew what he was doing in regards to that, but like I said, for me personally, I loved it. Maybe a little more maturity on his side would have been fine, but that daddy's boy, rich boy, complex, crazy ass mad scientist type vibe that he was given, absolutely loved it. What was another bad in the movie? I feel like there was another big one. Somewhat of a spoiler alert. It seems like Batman was killing people left to freaking right. And that is arguably the main thing that was really, 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 really pissing me off about the movie. It was because for those of you who don't know and don't read the comics or don't watch the Batman animated movies or anything like that, Batman's big thing is that he does not kill people. He wants to, I hope I'm using the right word, rehabilitate the criminals. He does not kill. Like, Damien's little crazy ass, he kills people because of his wench of a mother who I absolutely hate in every way, shape, or form. And that's going to come in a different video. I absolutely hate Talia al Ghul, arguably more than anybody in the DC universe. Those two crazy people, they kill people. Batman does not. So when I saw Batman shooting people and just battering straight to the heart and the chest, I was just like, Zach, what the fuck are you doing? This is not Batman. If this is the one thing you're supposed to do right, it's this. Like, come on now. Batman doesn't kill people. Granted, maybe those people were alive and they just couldn't show them, breathing. Who knows? But that was one thing that bothered me. The fact that they took Batman's core characteristic, the fact that he doesn't kill people. Well, one of his core characteristics. Well, if you can have more than one core characteristic, which you probably can, but you guys know how I am already. And sorry to the new people, I do ramble in these videos. The fact that that was taken away did kind of bother me a little bit, and that was that little comic book tiff, that nerd tiff that I had with the movie. There were a couple other points where I was just like, okay, why the fuck did this happen? But all in all, I've been talking for about 15 minutes now, so I'm going to end this off. The movie was very well done. I absolutely love the movie. If you're a fan of the comic books, I definitely recommend you go see this movie. Everything was very, very well done, regardless of whatever the critics say. In my opinion, the story was very cohesive. There were a couple of plot holes here and there, maybe like one or two that I can think of. I'm trying not to spoil the movie. That's why I'm really kind of tripping over my words, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. But definitely go see the movie if you are a fan of the comic books, especially if you're a diehard fan of the comic books. There are going to be a lot of points where you do enjoy a lot of things. There may be some tiffs here or there that you might have, especially if you're used to certain variations of a certain character. You might have a few problems with that, but don't let that take away from your experience with the movie, because at the end of the day, this is a different type of universe, and this is setting up for a new DC universe. Treat it like it's a new reboot of the comic books. Like, go in with an open mind. That's what I have to say. Don't let the critics influence your opinion. Don't even let me influence your opinion. Just go in optimistic. If you're excited to see the movie, go see the movie. I had a great time with it. I absolutely loved Wonder Woman. Everybody did an excellent job with their roles. Jesse Eisenberg and Amy Adams especially did just a great job, even though Amy Adams is enjoyable in whatever she's in. And it just made me excited for the DC universe in the future. I'm not really going to get too much into the too serious versus too fun type thing that a lot of people have been having a debate over, because I'm considering doing a video about that in the future. But I will say that it is a very serious movie. It is a very philosophical type of movie. It's a movie that makes you think. It's a movie that is not just high impact, full of action from beginning to end. That's the other thing that made me angry. The Batman and Superman, the climax of the movie where they finally fought, it was way too short. They should have added at least another 5 minutes to that, and that would have bumped the movie up to a 10 for me, because it's about at an 8 right now, and there, like I said, there were a few things that kind of, the little tiffs that I had here and there, but had they added that final moment of just bam, action, 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 that would have been perfect for me. So the climax of the movie was very, very short. And honestly, I'm trying to think again about anything that I really had a problem with the movie without spoiling anything. That's about it. Just the length of the fight kind of bothered me, because like I said, it was way too short, and even my mom said the same thing, that she felt like it should have been longer. I would say one thing, but that would completely spoil the whole Batman v Superman competition aspect of the movie. And that's another thing. Don't go in expecting this to be a full-on Batman versus Superman war type thing, because they're not going at it the entire movie. There is setting up towards that climax, and I think that's one thing that may have turned people off, was the fact that, they weren't expecting so much build up to the fight, but that made the fight more powerful for me. The only thing that I didn't really like I said, was that it was too short. But all in all, go into it with optimism. Don't let anybody influence your opinion, especially me. If you sat through all 20 minutes of this video, I genuinely, genuinely appreciate you, because I know that I do ramble a lot, and I know that I do stutter over my words, and I mumble sometimes. But I love doing this for you guys. I love expressing my opinion and just trying to get what I have to say out to the world. But all in all, love the movie. Had no problems with it for the most part. Like I said, little tiffs here and there, and the final fight scene, the Batman versus Superman fight scene was too short for me. But if you're interested in the movie, go see the movie. That's what I have to say. Especially if you're really excited for it, I think that you're going to be very happy with it. But just go in knowing that it's not going to be action from top to bottom. It's a movie that's going to make you think. And go see it. Go love it. Don't see it in 3D. Bye bye.